Yes, Hudur, about the Hadith-e-Qudsi. We know now the stand of the Jama'ah Ahmadiyya and the promised Messiah with respect to Hadith.
Right.
What about the Hadith-e-Qudsi also?
Hadith-e-Qudsi is a hadith where Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam reports something which is not clearly mentioned in the Quran, but is a message from Allah. So whether he clearly indicates that or not, if he speaks on a subject which obviously is attributed to Allah, that is called Hadith-e-Qudsi, which means he is reporting from God himself, and whether that is mentioned in the Quran or not, still it is considered a wahi. So after the Quran and between the hadith, this Hadith-e-Qudsi has a very high status. But that is only technically speaking. Practically, Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam never says anything from himself, whether it is from Wahi Matlu or Wahi Qudsi or the Wahi. Practically, everything which is from God is the same. So sometimes people can think that other hadith is lower in order. In my opinion, no hadith can be divided in such categories as lower in order or higher in order. The only thing which is to be ascertained is whether this is the word of Muhammad or not. Once it is proved to be his word, then all hadith is the same. La nufarriqu baina ahadin min rusuli also applies here. And ma yantiqu anil hawa in huwa illa wahyun yuha. All these are indicating in the same direction, pointing in the same direction. That he is the one who is the most trusted of Allah by God. So whatever he says, if he says, then it has to be the word of God or a message from God implied in his word. You see, this is my stance over Hadith-e-Qudsi, etc. But technically, of course, it stands in a higher order of but the existence of Hadith-e-Qudsi as such serves a definite purpose, because through Hadith-e-Qudsi we learn that it was not only the Quran which was revealed to Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As a book of law, it was the Quran, but other revelation which related to the area of guidance was continuously being was descended to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Allah, and that was an assurance that the Quran was revealed, but the meaning of the Quran was also revealed. So that Hadith-e-Qudsi supports that idea. Also, it supports the idea of future guidance of Allah with relation to the Quran and Hadith itself. Because if the recipient of Wahi, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, himself needs constant guidance from Allah to understand the full meaning and import of the Quran, then those who come later, what would happen to them if this was discontinued? So that is the reason why we hear so much our Imam al-Mahdi, that Imam who would be guided by Allah. Some people say the book is there, the Hadith has come, Hadith is still preserved, Sunnah is there to guide us. Why another Imam al-Mahdi? The answer, of course, first of all, is that did not Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam know that the Quran has been revealed as a complete, perfect book? He did not know that. Did he not know that his word would continue to be the valid currency till the end of the time? Why then he predicted about him and also about Jesus? So that is one answer which I generally give to these people. But I am now turning to the real justification of such an Imam to appear in latter days. The point is that the Holy Quran constantly needs to be explained by God himself to those whom he loves who come closer to him. So it is not just the Imam Mahdi, but throughout the Ummah, there have been people who have been guided to a degree, and they have been informed of the true meaning of the Quran. So that is why this book remained a live book, where contact with Allah was maintained throughout the last 1400 years. But the nature of that contact was smaller in scale, individualized. And the light, shone like the light of lamp, which reached a few hundred yards maybe, or in terms of mileage, let's call 100,000 miles, 1,000 miles, even that is a small area. So public lighting is done in the cities, but still it's a very small area. But when it begins the time of the moon, full moon in particular, then you see the sun reflected to the almost the entire phase where that is shining, and also the other part of the half world also benefits from the same. So one after the other, it does. So that is how I see the ahadith relating to Imam al-Mahdi. Divine guidance was needed, definitely. The concept of Hadith-e-Qudsi, the existence of Hadith-e-Qudsi fully supports that idea. That even Hazrat Muhammad stood in need of day-to-day guidance from Allah, from Jibreel, from Allah, but sometimes through Jibreel, some directly, sometimes. That this is what it means, what that means. So what would happen to the age 1300 years after? Or even 100 years after? That means divinely guided people are needed. That is why throughout this history we see the evidence of Wahi being revealed to other people than prophets. So this was day-to-day requirement. But when a lot of work got accumulated, so much thorough repair was needed, then thus these small measures would not do. That is the period when Hazrat Muhammad predicted that Al-Imam al-Mahdi would come. Al-Mahdi means guided. Al-Imam, the leader. So a divinely guided leader would come. But when he comes, they're so angry, Why has God sent a leader? Why do we need that? So Hadith-e-Qudsi, put me on to the thought that there has to be continuous divine guidance regarding the correct understanding of the Holy Quran itself.